My name is Carl Anka. I'll be watching Ghana very closely. It is the country of my parents' birth. And I will be begging, pleading Ghana to beat Uruguay. I mean, getting out in the group stage would be nice, but the main thing is beat Uruguay, defeat Luis Suarez, defeat the evil. Hesitant optimism. So Ghana right now are ranked 61 in the FIFA World Rankings. Of the 32 teams at the World Cup, Ghana currently ranked the lowest. It is a minor miracle that they are at this World Cup. It took a very controversial circumstances to get them out of the qualifying group. The South African government believed Daniel Amate dived to win a penalty. That was a winning goal against South Africa to get to the World Cup playoff stages. At the playoff stages, Ghana was up against Nigeria, which are their biggest rivals and the biggest rivalry in all of West African football. I was there for the two-legged playoff, one game being played in Kumasi and the second game being played in the Nigerian capital of Abuja. Ghana basically survived that playoff. They got through via away goals. I was tear-gassed twice. I had to run away as some very disgruntled Nigerian football fans essentially dismantled the dugout after the result. I don't think Ghana would have beaten anyone if it wasn't Nigeria, but it was very much a case of, oh my God, Ghana's playing Nigeria. We have to get all of our powers together to defeat Nigeria. Chris Houghton, former Brighton manager, was brought in on a temporary technical director basis. And Otto Addo, who was the assistant manager of Borussia Dortmund, was given basically a 2-game contract. And the entire plan was, it doesn't matter what you do or how short term it is, just make sure you beat Nigeria. Ghana have now done that. And since then, they've gone on a really interesting approach. So Chris Houghton has been part of a new essential technical vision where any player of dual nationality or first or second generation heritage has been approached by the Ghanaian national team and said, would you like to play for Ghana over, say, the country you were born in, be it England, the Netherlands, Germany, whatnot. So far, 5 players have said yes. One of them being Mohamed Salisu from Southampton, who initially in 2000 was playing a little bit for, well, turned up to camp for Ghana, had to drop out due to injury, then said he wasn't really interested, but he's back into the fold. Tariq Lamptey of Brighton has now also declared, and one of the big ones was Inaki Williams, who might be the solution to Ghana's long-standing goal-scoring issue. Okay, the most famous moment for the Ghanaian national team at the World Cup is the one that I'm not really going to talk about because it's just quite painful. I do remember the commentary afterwards. Asamoah Gyan for Ghana. Oh, and he's missed!
A caveat to start with in that measuring defensive actions can actually be quite challenging with data, particularly looking at on-ball defensive actions. But using those, Mohamed Salisu, the Southampton central defender, really stands out. Over the past year, he ranks inside the top 10% of all central defenders across Europe's top 5 leagues in terms of tackles, interceptions, blocks and clearances. So he really is doing everything in central defence, and Ghana will need that at this World Cup.
I think neutrals will be expecting passion, intensity and drama, and that's just from when Ghana come down the tunnel and start singing. They famously don't wear headphones or beats as they walk down, and they do like a very large group song. They also have some of the most colourful and vibrant goal celebrations. Ghana don't score too much, but when they do, you're going to see 4 or 5 Ghanaian players have a dance. So I think that will be very interesting. If you want that sort of, what I describe as non-European footballing passion, Ghana will bring it in spades. And also I think every single neutral will be interested to see what happens when Ghana play Uruguay again. The most important player for Ghana at this World Cup is probably going to be Mohamed Kudus. So historically speaking, the Ghanaian national team has a lot of very stout midfielders. So if you think players like SEN, Stephen Appiah, Suli Ali Montari, whereas Kudus is essentially the new breed, came through the Ghanaian Right to Dream Academy, initially broke into Europe by going through the Danish league and then went to Ajax. Kudus is in a really good run of form for Ajax at the moment, as you may have seen in Champions League games against Rangers, Liverpool and Napoli. He's being used as a false 9 in this system, which is quite interesting because when Kudus first emerged, he was a number 10. Then Erik ten Hag at Ajax tried using him as a press-resistant box-to-box midfielder. He's very press-resistant. He's got a wicked left foot on him. Mohamed Kudus is the most exciting attacking prospect I've seen in a Ghana shirt in about a decade. Oh, I'm going to fall in love with him at this World Cup, I'm telling you right now.
I I think Kamaldeen Sulemana is a really exciting talent that clubs need to get onto now before he gets too good and becomes too expensive. He's a graduate of the famous Right to Dream Academy and spent time playing in Denmark for FC Nordsjælland, but is now playing for Rennes in Liga, and is a really talented dribbler, really pacey, really direct. He perhaps needs to improve his end actions in terms of getting goals and assists, but I'm sure that will come with age. He's only 20.
Ghana's biggest weakness is goals. It's quite interesting. So the greatest Ghanaian football player of all time is Abde Pele. Abde Pele is not his real name, but he was so good, we decided to nickname him Pele as well. He played for Marseille, fantastic attacking player. His two sons are Jordan Ayew and Andre Ayew, who Premier League watchers will be familiar with. They're in an interesting space right now. So Andre now plays for a Qatari team outside, and Jordan is quite interesting because he has a reputation in the Premier League of being a hard-working attacking player, doesn't really score many goals, whereas in Ghana he has a reputation for being there. Those two players have often spearheaded a lot of Ghanaian attacking prospects ever since Asamoah Gyan, I'm going to say retired, but apparently there's been rumours and conversation from the GFA saying that Asamoah Gyan should be brought out of retirement to help Ghana score goals. That's the goal scoring situation. This sort of sounds like when Roger Milla was asked to come back for Italia 90 for the Cameroonian side, but I will state, Asamoah Gyan hasn't scored in club football since 2019. That goal was in the Indian Super League. He hasn't scored for the Ghanaian national team since 2017. If people were saying Asamoah Gyan should be brought back to score goals for Ghana, you get an idea of how goals aren't frequent to this team.
Hello, I'm James Richardson. This upcoming World Cup, what are the Athletic going to be doing about it? Well, for starters, I'll be hosting a nightly Totally Football show with the likes of Raphael Honigstein, James Horncastle and all the rest of the Totally crew. Then every morning from Qatar, wham, the Athletic Football Podcast will be at you with David Ornstein, Matt Slater, Adam Crafton and many more. There'll also be World Cup content from Adam Hurrey's Football Clichés podcast, Michael Cox's insightful Athletic Football Tactics podcast, and Joe Devine's Tifo podcast with all the stories that matter from Qatar. There you go, The Athletic, your essential audio companion for the upcoming World Cup.